Okay.
I'm very pleased to be here again with Elana Freeland, author of several books on geoengineering as well as literature. Actually, you're a ghostwriter as well. You've written a lot over the years. Can you give us the title of your latest book?
Yes, it's quite long. I'm known for my long titles, right? Uh, this is Remaining Human, Standing Up to the Transhuman Nano-Machine Takeover of Homo sapiens. And I'm absolutely serious of the possibility of a total takeover of our physical body and our behavior and our thinking. This has been underway for, well, at least 20 years. I've been involved in writing about geoengineering. Geoengineering is, in my estimation, the half of a pincher. I think that's what the military would call it, a pincher move to actually change the human species, the Homo sapiens, into a, um, a species which would not be sensitive to the radiation belts around the Earth that would allow humans to enter space, which we have not done yet. As you know, there was no moon landing. That was entirely Werner von Braun and his wonderful skills. And so I see the pincher movement coming from space, from the upper atmosphere, where big pharma is involved in that, in feeding us various chemicals and nanotechnology that we then are forced to breathe in because we all breathe one atmosphere, one huge envelope of air. And then the other side of the pincher movement revealed itself, or actually exposed itself in 2020,
Pinchers, pinchers,
like a pincher, yeah,
yeah,
like
a
a
prong,
claws, maybe, huh?
three-prong approach, yeah.
Yeah, and the uh, the so-called vaccination, the inoculations that have come since 2020 are actually the other half, but it isn't so much the same chemical, though there are chemicals in it, of course, but it's primarily to implant an operating system into those who opted to have the experimental serum. And that operating system is sensitive to the electromagnetic 5G, 6G, and soon 7G. We now have 6G, by the way. That is
What,
up and
what,
running.
what, what, what is 6G and 7G?
Well, that's like 5G, right? You know that your phone is 5G, the fifth generation of a certain type of electromagnetism for communications. And it depends on the length of the wave. Each generation is a little shorter and a little shorter and a little shorter
Got it.
in the waves. And
I'm on
those,
a fiber optic internet connection right now, and when I am around Wi-Fi, I really notice it affecting me. I really do.
oh
Um,
yeah.
but it sounds like what you're saying is that they're designing it so that human beings can transmit and they can also receive information through this wireless network.
Yes, yes. And that is I think we learned that when we discovered the Bluetooth connectivity that many of the vaccinated have. They're all on satellite leash, an electromagnetic leash, reading their vitals, their biometrics from space, from the upper atmosphere, where Elon Musk's CubeSats are. And they're all I think that's one of the big reasons that the Stargate AI, which President Trump announced the second day he was in office this time, with his three billionaire apprentices in the Freemason sense. I'm referring here to a scene from January 22, uh, uh, 2026, in which you see Trump standing behind a lectern, and beside him are is Sam Ellis, and I can't remember the name of the other two billionaires from Silicon Valley. And it appeared to me that it was one, because I'm very familiar with secret societies. It's something that unfortunately Americans are not familiar with, because you really should be, really should be familiar with it, because all of America is pretty much run by secret societies. And these secret societies are very, they have big plans for their domination, which they basically already have, but there's never too much domination for the power hungry. And so when Trump announced the Stargate AI, I recognized the term from 1977. We had a Stargate program going on that belonged to the military, which was partially about remote viewing and partially about mind control. And so now they have resurrected that term, and what they announced was that they were going to put, I think it was, these big numbers always fool me. It was $50 billion or $500 billion or $1 trillion. It was a lot of money. They're putting it into the Stargate AI. And that's when they started to build these big data centers that now everyone is complaining about, that they're getting sick around them, and they're using all the water of the area that they've been built in, and they're not asking permission to build anymore. They're just throwing it up. So there's something very big going on, and I maintain that Stargate AI, announced by Trump and supported by the three billionaires from Silicon Valley, is really the what I called in one of the books, the space fence lockdown. And the space fence lockdown in the second book, Under an Ionized Sky, from chemtrails to space fence lockdown. The space fence lockdown is where we're all nodes in a network, we human beings. And that now is underway. And Catherine Austin Fitts is talking a lot about it, but it's pretty much already a done deal, because we have so many nanosensors in us that we've breathed in from the chemical trails, and the nanosensors are in the streets of smart
Yeah.
cities, in the walls, etc. So
Now, I think it's interesting, a lot of people are talking about transhumanism these days and the threat posed by transhumanism, but you connect it with nanoparticles, which
oh
is
yeah.
a very interesting take.
Well, it's very synthetic
Synth
biology, and a lot of people don't know what that is yet, because they haven't caught up with the rapidity with which this whole thing is being laid out. It's been years in the making, but somehow in 2020, and I think I have some historical facts from Rudolf Steiner, as a matter of fact, that indicate why it would have been in 2020 per se.
Interesting.
Uh, yeah, because everything these guys do has occult significance. That's what the American who's so afraid has been taught to be so afraid of the occult. Yes, the Satanists are occult. Some very bad people cling to the occult and do things to
Yeah.
people. Yes, that's
You,
true. But
the title of your last book, or second to last book, Geoengineering Transhumanism.
yeah,
Um,
The Geoengineered Transhuman is the last book that the my publisher now, Inner Traditions, published in February 2025.
How has it
And
been received? How has it been received?
well, I'm not a millionaire yet. I'm writing in an era of non-readers, right?
Right,
Yeah. That's
right.
and if people read, they retain so little
Yeah,
that they really, and then they just don't think it's worth their time because they're so busy
yeah.
doing.
I remember once you said that you are writing for the astrophysicists 50 years from now,
That's right.
who will ask what happened and how did
And
we
who
get here?
and who asked why didn't we do something when we could have? Yeah, that's over now. That why didn't we do something? It's too late now. But there are still things we can do as individuals to maintain our humanity. I mean, to me, it's now a race. I don't know if race is the right word, a fight, I don't know what to use, to maintain, to keep Homo sapiens. I mean, if Homo sapiens is completely undermined by these health czars, these people who are taking our health and turning it into a global weapon, then I don't know if we can save Homo sapiens,
Now,
which to me,
you were optimistic, I know, during the first Trump administration, and I was too. And there was also a lot of optimism when Trump came to power again last year, thinking we were going to have some kind of disclosure about geoengineering, the influence of Robert Kennedy Jr. I think we've all been disappointed. Where do you see the geoengineering movement in, in 2026?
well, it's definitely changed in the sense of ever since that wonderful site, which I think everybody should add to their list of news sources, the Zero Geoengineering site run by Jolie Diane is her name. She's reporting on all of these states that individually are attempting to get their legislatures to ban chemtrails over their territories. And that's very praiseworthy, but it won't happen. They won't allow it at all to happen
Yeah,
because these people who are trying to, they think it's just for weather engineering. Well, weather engineering is just the first operation that geoengineering is dedicated to. And I talk ad nauseam about that there are other operations, including mind control, including spreading chemicals loaded with nanoparticles, nanotechnology that we have to breathe in because we're all breathing from the same
yeah.
atmosphere.
It seems
And
like so much of the time when I or other people talk about chemtrails and the overhead spraying, people just want to look at it in a vacuum and not connect it to what else is going on. And one of the things I like about your research is that you focus a lot on electromagnetics and how
yes.
the nanoparticles in the sky interact with electromagnetism.
Yes, in fact, that's a huge part of it, and we somehow with the mRNA and other things, they have gotten us involved in thinking that this is entirely that there is an assault. The people who know there is an assault on Homo sapiens, but they tend to think of it as genetic, and there are some genetics involved, certainly in all gain of function research. Now. I was on a radio show last night where the host said that I should tell people what gain of function means because they don't know. Yes, the gain of function is what is done to change something natural into something synthetic, like synthetic biology. And that is for the patenting process because we at least had the intelligence to make it illegal to patent anything natural. I mean, you didn't even make it, but now you claim it. So now we have gain of function, and the gain of function also is essential to understanding why and how the US has become so deeply entrenched in biowarfare. There are many, many biowarfare labs. We all know that cancer was created intentionally. We all know that Lyme disease was created intentionally. Not all of us know, but many of us know that the Morgellons that was discovered decades ago by Clifford Carnicom, the scientist I work with, Morgellons is a little bit of the beginning of synthetic biology download from the upper atmosphere. And we all know that it is artificial and made by human beings.
Talk to
Uh,
us, talk to us more about Morgellons and Clifford Carningham.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Clifford's still working. In fact, he now is working on a lot of the live blood that I too have been working on for the last couple of years through a microscope group. And I wanted to let you know about this fantastic book that just came out created by one of the microscope people. I've got it right here. It's called Nano Microscopy Investigations. And in it are just I don't know, 1,000. I don't know how many are of these beautifully executed photos of what's been found in human blood that should has no business being there. This is technology that's in our blood now because of what we've been breathing for 20 years.
What does it do?
Faith.
What do these nanoparticles do inside of us?
Well, the primary purpose of them, if you get down to the nitty-gritty, is to for them to self-assemble in our bodies and create what they're programmed to create, which would be synthetic blood vessels, synthetic nerves, synthetic tissues, all of these things that the transhuman we're living in a materialistic society, and our science is entirely materialistic. So the transhumanism is not just an ideation, not just some crazy idea about a human who's somehow different, like a golem in Jewish literature, or a homunculus from years and years ago. No, it's actually going to be the new model of the human being, of the hybrid human being. And they've already been working on us without our knowledge, without our consent, for at least 20 years. From
What is Morgellons disease?
Morgellons is it's a term. First of all, let me discount the term a little bit. Morgellons was a 17th century skin ailment that was very shocking to people. And that was separate from what this is. It's not the same thing. This is very consistent with an intelligence operation approach to confusing the public by misnaming things, by grabbing a piece of history and reshuffling it in order to represent what looks like a skin disease, because by the time you see that somebody has Morgellons, or if you yourself have Morgellons, you see it coming out of the skin. Now, the skin, I studied Chinese medicine for 6 years. I thought I was going to be a Chinese medical doctor in my 20s, but life took me in a different direction. You tend to think that if it's coming out the skin, then it's a skin ailment. No, the skin is an organ, and it is an organ that works with the liver. If the liver is overtaxed in dealing with toxins, medicaments, whatever it is, meat, breaking down meat, it will then kind of flow over into the skin, and you'll get rashes, you'll get various things. Like in Lyme disease, you could have bullseye, a very distinctive bullseye look. So that's Morgellons is the first time that Clifford Carnicom was able to see synthetic biology being delivered from the upper atmosphere.
Can I just circle back to something you said? What is nanomicroscope?
Well, that's
Nanomicroscopy. I can't say the word.
microscopy. I know it takes a while. Well, this Nano is just the name of her book, right? There it is, Nano. It's kind of silly, but
Can you show us some of these images, please?
yeah, I
And
wish I
all
had
these are taken from nanomicroscopic, nanomic,
microscopy. Yeah, from
okay,
very, and that's very important, from very good microscopes. I mean, we're talking $7,000 microscopes that
yeah.
are electron microscopes.
And
So
unlike so-called viruses, they can actually see these directly in the people. They don't need to do some complicated cell culture to.
yeah, like here's an example of
Oh
a
wow!
crystal. That is a crystal that has self assembled in the blood. It goes in as a fiber, and then suddenly you look at it a few hours later, and it's transmogrified, wonderful word, transmogrified into a crystal. So these microscopists who are doing this, a lot of them are just our medical people, have medical backgrounds, doctors, researchers, that sort of thing. But then there are also people who just bought a really good microscope and want to learn about this because they're concerned about their own blood
So
and the blood of their children.
your contention is that we're breathing this in.
Yes,
Okay.
we're
Um,
breathing in the means, and that's important for transhumanism. The interesting thing is, it's not going to be done out here in the lab. It's going to be done in your own body, and it's going to use parts of your own body with the technology that is delivered by either inoculation or from the upper atmosphere by geoengineering.
so the overhead spraying is a lot more than just controlling the weather, and I think that's
Oh, way more.
one of the
Yes,
big takeaways from your research.
that's right.
Talk to us about Clifford. What's his last name? I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Carnicom. Now his site is, and you can go and look at lots of pictures and lots of his text. He has 450 papers up at his site from all these years, 25 years he's been working on this, all of which time he has been silenced, either threatened or targeted or ignored, marginalized, made fun of, you name it. He has been through it.
Is he the one that
Meanwhile,
he got you into this research?
he's the one. I met him at a breakfast and we started talking about his research because biology had been my second major in undergrad college,
Mhm.
and I was interested. And then we went to his house and I looked under his microscope and saw these entities, these Morgellons little entities, the fiber guys, and the things in the fibers gnawing at my red blood cells and sucking all the iron out of my blood.
Wow.
That was it for me. That I was in.
So
Because I
tell us the name of your first book
the first book I ever did
on this
on
subject
this subject,
of
yeah.
geoengineering.
Well, the first book that I dipped into this deeply was a 650 page monster of a book that I wrote, and had 660 color illustrations, and that's geoengineered transhumanism.
Well, you
That's the
had under an ionized sky, and what was the other
Under
one?
Nine Night Sky was before that, and the very first book I wrote, which is still very important. Both of those early books are important because there's so little published in book form and a deep form on this that people can get hold of.
Chemtrails and full spectrum dominance.
Chemtrails, HARP, and the full spectrum dominance of planet Earth. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to shift gears if I can. Talk to us about targeted individuals, because I know that's been an area of your research. What is a targeted individual and how
Oh,
does it
I'll do
tie?
that. But first, I want to remind you that if anybody who sees this interview wants, This is available only from the person who made this, and her name, she goes by, her moniker is Unhackable Animal. And you go to that site, unhackableanimal.com, and you can buy the book there. Okay, so just as long as you know. It just came out very, very briefly. All right, targeting. I've been targeted, oh, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 times by the people who don't like that I write what I write, and particularly this national security issue of HARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, and all that goes with it. The HARP system is an incredibly dangerous weapon system. It is not just weather modification. It is far, far more. And But I am in touch with a lot of targeted individuals who have been targeted for, oh, I don't know, many of them for 20 years now, 25 years, 30 years, with no one believing them, no one doing anything about it, because the intelligence operations in America are all rogue. That includes the FBI, and the DIA and all the rest.
The voice to skull technology.
Yes, voice to skull is part of it. But everything in the Internet of Things, the IoT, and the Internet of Bodies and all the Internet, there are many, many Internets now, is all can be used to cycle power into weapons that are electromagnetically entering your home or your apartment and utilizing your IoT types of contrivances in order to hit you
I have a
with whatever
friend,
they got going.
I have a friend who's a targeted individual, and he hears voices inside his head, but
Yeah,
he says because he's really educated and he has a background in a lot of different fields, and he says it's actually AI. There's not somebody on a microphone
right.
in a room talking to him.
No, no, there
These
isn't. But
are all kinds of is from AI, maybe from satellite. How does this work?
well, that's exactly it. How it works. It can be AI, and usually when you enter the program, and it is a program, you're brought in when you're younger, and they begin to program you, not totally MK Ultra, but similar to MK Ultra, using possibly hypnosis, using drugs, and drugs can just as well be a smell that you have in your apartment. I'm very aware of smells sometimes, and have various things that I spray around in order to cut through them because I'm not sure what their purpose is. The drugs, and then the other is the trauma that you are put through, either pain, rape, any number of things that are done to the targeted individuals. Now, ever since the Havana syndrome, uh, someone I know from the microscopy group, Dr. Len Baer, BER, MD, Len was hit with the what's called the Havana syndrome, and now is experiencing brain fog and all the things that come with that. And he's working extremely hard to bring justice to that, so that
Uh, Alana, Zoom tells me I've only got a couple minutes left. So is there anything you want to add before I let you go?
Well, yeah, you can just remember every day I'm commenting at my Patreon site. You would look for Patreon Elana Freeland and you would find it. And I comment on many news items, not just geoengineering, a lot of different things, because I realize we're in a crisis now of being in this pincher phase. And I try to help people to get ready for that, no matter how it turns out.
How can you be human in this era of nanoparticles and transhumanism? What's
The
the
first
key to remaining human?
the first thing is to lower your electromagnetic footprint way, way down. I have no cell phone. I've never had one. I have no TV. I only have this little fine little computer here that I use for my writing. And then I have full spectrum bulbs. And then I have the 60 hertz in the wall. And that's it. I don't have any other electronics in where I live. Well, I mean the refrigerator, I guess.
Let's just hope a big data center doesn't go up next door.
Where I am. Well, I'll be gone if it comes where I am. Okay, so that's all. That's all. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you,
Brief,
Elana.
but all right.
You're the best.
Bye, Patrick.
Bye bye.